What's up everyone? Subscribe my channel and welcome back to another deep dive into the rarest and most incredible machines from automotive history. Today we are going to talk about a car that isn't just rare, it's practically a legend that very few people in the world even know exists, the 1913 National Semi-Racing Roadster, tied to the name James Grundy. When you think of collectible cars, you might immediately picture Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugattis, maybe some pre-war Mercedes. But this particular car, built in an era when the automobile was still finding its identity, stands apart as one of the most fascinating pre-war roadsters to ever touch pavement. Now, the year is 1913. Automobiles were not everyday tools for everyone. They were luxuries, they were experiments, and they were often built with the kind of craftsmanship you simply don't see anymore. The National Motor Vehicle Company, based in Indianapolis, Indiana, was one of the pioneering American manufacturers. While companies like Ford were focused on mass production, National was focused on performance and exclusivity. They wanted to prove that American engineering could compete with anything being built in Europe. And the Semi-Racing Roadster became their statement piece. What makes this roadster so important is its balance between raw racing pedigree and road usability. Unlike stripped-down racing cars of the era, the Semi-Racing Roadster was designed to give owners a taste of track-bred performance while still being able to drive on early American roads. Under the hood, it carried a massive four-cylinder T-head engine with displacement figures that sound unbelievable today, often well over 500 cubic inches. That's the kind of engine you'd expect to find in airplanes, not passenger cars. The power wasn't measured the way we measure horsepower today, but contemporary reports suggest it had the ability to push this machine to speeds that most people in 1913 had never even imagined experiencing in a car. And here's where James Grundy comes into the story. Grundy was a young enthusiast whose name has since become linked with this car, partly because of his passion for racing and partly because of the legacy his family built around automotive preservation. Owning a National Semi-Racing Roadster in 1913 was like owning a Bugatti Chiron today. It wasn't just about transportation, it was about status, it was about being at the cutting edge, and it was about daring to push boundaries in an age when roads were still mostly dirt and gravel. Think about that for a moment. Driving a machine capable of 70 or even 80 miles per hour when the majority of people were lucky if their wagons went 10. The sound of that massive engine firing up, the long hood stretching out in front of you, the wind cutting across as you raced down rural Indiana roads. That wasn't just driving, that was an event. And because these cars were produced in tiny numbers, they have practically vanished into history. Collectors today can go their whole lives without even seeing one in person, let alone owning one. When one of these surfaces at an auction, it's not just a sale, it's a moment of history changing hands. Experts consider the 1913 National Semi-Racing Roadster not only one of the most expensive American-built pre-war sports cars, but also one of the most historically significant. We're talking about a machine that predates Duesenberg, predates many of the marques we associate with luxury and racing. It's an artifact from the dawn of America's love affair with speed, preserved in metal, wood, and leather. To collectors, this is more than a car. It's a symbol of an era when builders were unafraid to experiment, when racing was dangerous, raw, and thrilling, and when ownership of such a machine meant you were truly among the elite. And because so few of these cars exist, their value has only skyrocketed over time. Today, the National Semi-Racing Roadster linked with James Grundy is estimated at values that make modern supercars look like toys in comparison. So the next time you think about what makes a car valuable, remember this isn't just about shiny paint or horsepower numbers. It's about the story, the heritage, the connection to the pioneers who built them and the people who drove them. The 1913 National Semi-Racing Roadster is a perfect example of that, more than just steel and rubber. It's living history. What's up everyone? If you enjoyed this breakdown of one of the rarest and most expensive pre-war American roadsters, make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel and share this video with anyone you know who loves cars, history, or both. We've got more stories like this coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them.